Let's move over to the quarterbacks here, and we start with Matthew Stafford here. He's 61% available. He's against the Seahawks. He's got Miami on Monday Night Football after that. Matthew Stafford, he's coming off a week where he threw for 4 touchdowns. Things just looked right in the world with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back, and everything looked like we hoped from this Sean McVay offense. Stafford maybe kind of charging towards a fringe QB1 play soon?
Well, look, I mean, this is somebody that, by the way, was really good down the stretch last year as well. I mean, he's had 13 games in his career, Matthew Stafford has, where he's had both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp healthy, obviously going back to last year. So you're including games from last year. Since the start of last year, in those 13 games, with both Kupp and Nacua active, 17.4 fantasy points per game, right? And you like this matchup with Seattle. I mean, Seattle is so Jekyll and Hyde, but over the past 4 weeks, Seahawks are a bottom 10 pass defense, and they've allowed multiple touchdown passes in 3 of the past 4 games. When Nacua and Kupp both healthy, I think he's a viable streamer this week. If you've been rolling out there with Brock Purdy or even Russell Wilson in like a 2-quarterback league, Matthew Stafford's a viable. Well, I can't imagine Stafford's available in a 2-quarterback league, but you know what I mean. Like if you've been hit by some injuries or what have you, like if you have Anthony Richardson and you don't feel comfortable with Joe Flacco, for example, that's somebody that I do think Matthew Stafford's a viable streamer this week and has borderline top 12-ish potential the rest of the way as long as both guys are healthy.
Also, Jordan Love potentially out this week. We'll see on that status. People are going to be looking for replacements right now, and that's why we bring up, Jay, Bo Nix, 75% available. He will be fed to the Ravens defense, which they're great at stopping the run. They're not so good at stopping the pass, and Bo Nix finally got the pass game going against the Panthers. 284 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He also ran for a touchdown, which has been a staple of his game this rookie year.
Indeed, and it gives him a raised floor, this rushing ability. And also the Ravens' defense, like this would have been a terrifying matchup for him last year. Bo Nix against last year's Ravens' defense is a horror film. This time, it's not that bad.
Right.
Like they've been a bottom 5 pass defense by dropback EPA. Kyle Hamilton just refuses to catch interceptions. It just doesn't seem like anything is working. There's just constant breakdowns. The pass rush was never even really that scary last year in terms of the talent, but it was all seemingly Mike McDonald simulated pressures. They're not getting that at the moment, so it's not a terrifying matchup, and they're underdogs, so presumably he's going to have to be dropping back to throw. So yeah, I think Bo Nix is very viable as a streamer.
Some other deeper adds at quarterback here, Matthew. Jameis Winston is 94% available against the Chargers. He threw for 3 touchdowns last week. Obviously, Jameis is peak fantasy quarterback, which is especially great if you're rostering his wide receivers. Justin Herbert, who's been much better through the air simply because he's throwing the ball more and he's throwing it more efficiently. He's available in 57% of leagues. And like we hinted at the top of this segment, all the way back to Josh Downs, Flacco could be the starter this week. He's 98% available. When Flacco plays, he's been really good in this Colts pass game.
He has been. I mean, look, with Winston, you know what you're getting, right? There's going to be a pick or two. It's the full Jameis experience, but he had more fantasy points than Deshaun Watson has ever had in a game with Cleveland. Since the Week 5 bye, Justin Herbert, finding his way in this, this new Greg Roman offense, he's averaging 35 pass attempts per game. And very quietly over the last month, the Browns are a bottom 10 defense in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, dating back to last year, 8 straight games now with multiple touchdown passes for last year's comeback player of the year.
I don't have to say it every time.
Jay, with
No,
Herbert.
I do. I have to say it every time, Jay. Every single time.
It's like he's knighted Sergio Flacco comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Jay, with Herbert, it felt like he was basically functioning Iowa or Northwestern style offense, and now this is a true drop back at a normal rate offense, and he looks good doing it, especially Ladd McConkey getting involved.
Yeah, and I think there's an element too of the first couple of weeks where they were winning comfortably. There was this idea that this is the way that Harbaugh and Roman want to play. They just want to run the ball over and over. Maybe it was that Justin Herbert had plantar fasciitis and was really banged up, and he couldn't really do stuff. And now he can do stuff. And look, he doesn't have amazing weapons, but the thing is that he's Justin Herbert. He has a solid offensive line. Ladd McConkey is really stepping up. And also, they haven't been efficient running the ball at all. J.K. Dobbins keeps having these games where it's 17 for 57.
Yeah.
I don't think that they want to rely on him for 20 efficient carries a game. So I think Justin Herbert is very viable going forward, and I think that he should get better as the season goes on.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.